I'm a person living in long-term recovery. I used to serve in Congress for nearly 2 decades, and I never thought I was going to get a hand like that saying that I was a recovering drug addict. But not only am I a person in long-term recovery because I haven't had a drink or a drug since February 22nd, 2011, I'm here today because I also had the honor, while I served in the United States Congress, of writing the law called the Mental Health Parity and Addiction Equity Act. And I'm glad all of you know about that law. And I hope that you know to spread the word about that law, because most Americans do not know that if they have addiction or a mental illness, that they are entitled to the same health care as if they had cancer, diabetes, or cancer. So that means, we all know, we have to treat body, mind, and spirit. But first and foremost, we got to treat the body. And insurance does not reimburse for treatment of adequate coverage to get you on the road to recovery. So the law says that if you're an inpatient or inpatient in-network, or outpatient in-network, or inpatient out-of-network, or outpatient out-of-network, or you're in an emergency room or need pharmaceutical benefits, you need to get the same coverage as you would get if you had diabetes, cardiovascular disease, or cancer. Now, the bottom line is, the insurance industry is not following the federal law. And it's up to us to raise our voices so that the Department of Health and Human Services and Secretary Burwell will hear you say today, you want the federal government to ensure that insurance companies cover what they're legally obligated to cover under the law. And my friends, the reason they haven't been covering this is because they haven't seen you outside their window. The reason they haven't been enforcing this law is that they didn't know that you're out there and you're going to vote in the next election.
My son, I had 4 stories.
So it's my honor to introduce America's top doc. That is the Surgeon General of the United States of America.
Into ECMC, which is
the Surgeon General is someone who's important to all of us in recovery, because he is going to talk today about the way we treat a chronic illness is to make sure we extend the same array of benefits that we would extend if that person had asthma, or had diabetes, or had cardiovascular disease. But you know what? It helps us that the Surgeon General of the United States chose to come here today. Dr. Vivek Murthy is someone who's on our side, and I want you to listen closely to what he has to say to you all today, because I'm in on something here. And he is about to make history for our movement. Give it up for America's top doc, Vivek Murthy. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much. My name is Vivek Murthy. I'm the Surgeon General and I am on your side. I want to thank Congressman Kennedy for being such an incredible leader for this movement. He's an extraordinary leader, deserves a round of applause. You're most welcome. Thank you. You know, before I put on this uniform to become Surgeon General, I worked at a hospital in Boston, Massachusetts. We got some Bostonians here. And you know, as a doctor, you do a lot of educating. But I'm not here to tell you about what I taught the people that I worked with. I'm here to tell you what they taught me. I'm here to tell you what I learned. And here's what I learned. I learned that there is no single face of addiction. Addiction impacts all of us and our families. I learned that recovery starts with humility. And it's sustained by the strength to ask for help. I learned that recovery takes hope. The hope to get us through the moments when we're not sure if we're going to make it. And most importantly, I learned that recovery is about community. And that's why I'm here. That's why you're here. That's what today is all about. Because when I look out at all of you, I see a community that shouldn't have to stand alone. And that's why I'm here, to stand with you. I'm here to say that we are going to stop treating addiction as a moral failing. I'm here because we are going to start treating addiction as what it is, which is a chronic illness that must be treated with urgency and compassion.
Put your money where your mouth is.
I'm also here to say that we're not going to hide from this issue because it's hard for some people to talk about. Because we know that there was a time in our country where it was hard to talk about tobacco, about AIDS, and about mental health. But we were fortunate to have leaders who were bold enough to stand up and say that it's time for us to have a conversation in this country based on facts. A conversation that's based on medicine and science. And that is why I am so proud to announce to you that next year I will be releasing the first ever Surgeon General's report on substance use, addiction, and health. This is a big deal. This is the first report ever on this topic from the Office of the Surgeon General. And in it, we're going to be looking at everything from heroin and marijuana to alcohol and prescription opioids.
Yeah.
And we're also going to launch a national campaign to tackle the prescription drug crisis. We're going to do this because we know that someone dies from an opioid overdose every 24 minutes in this country.
Yes, they
do. And as I look out and I see the pictures and the names that so many of you are holding up on your placards, I know that you know this. You know this not just in your head, but you know it in your heart. And I want you to know that I know it too and that I stand with you. Now, in this historic report, we're going to find a way forward together. We're going to talk about treatment and recovery. But we're also going to talk about prevention, because if there's one thing we know, it's that we need a comprehensive approach to this problem. This work has to start now. And if you need any proof of that, just look around. I'm standing here with an incredible group of leaders and lawmakers. People like Senator Ed Markey, who will be speaking in a few minutes, like Congressman Patrick Kennedy. People like the women and men of the United States Public Health Service Commission Corps, our nation's guardians of public health, who are standing right behind me. Now, I want to thank all of them, but I also want to thank all of you, because you're the ones that are standing up to addiction each and every day.
Yeah.
You're the ones who are raising your voice and making all of this progress possible. So let all of us take a moment to put our hands together for the organizers of this event, for the people with me on this stage, but most importantly, for all of you. Now, I'll leave you with a personal thought, because this is so important to me. You know, right before I came to Washington, D.C. to be Surgeon General, I was saying goodbye to the team of nurses in my hospital in Boston. Nurses, yeah, we got some nursing fans out here. It's good. I'm a big fan of nurses. These nurses were the women and the men who helped me, who supported me, and who helped me become the doctor that I am today. They're also the women and men who, as most of you know, are the real heart of any hospital.
For sure.
And they had one request for me. They said if I could do just one thing as Surgeon General, I should do something about the drug crisis in America. And I promised them that I would. Because I knew that this was a crisis that was destroying too many individuals, families, and communities all across America. So all of you have my word that as long as I am in this office, as long as I am Surgeon General, as long as I am wearing this uniform, I will stand with you. I will stand up for recovery, and we will face addiction together. Thank you very much.
Ladies, and a big hand for the Surgeon General, folks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Senator from Massachusetts, Ed Markey from Massachusetts.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today at this historic rally. 50 years ago, the landmark Surgeon General's report on the hazards of smoking triggered a revolution in the way in which our country looked at smoking and how many people it was killing in our country. Today, because of that Surgeon General's report, there has been a reduction from 50% down to 18% of Americans who smoke in the United States of America. But the American tobacco industry still fights to have more people addicted to tobacco. The reason we are here today is that the Surgeon General is now going to conduct his own new Surgeon General's report
on the public health crisis of addiction, because substance abuse, including prescription drugs and heroin addiction, robs people of their friends. It robs them of their jobs. It robs them of their freedom as they look out from behind prison bars. Much too often it robs them of their lives. We cannot arrest our way out of the prescription drug crisis in our country. We know that addiction strikes without regard to age or race or gender, employment or socioeconomic status. The rich, the poor, the young, the old, the urban, the rural, they are all affected now by something that kills 30,000 people every year in our country. This epidemic knows no geographic boundaries, and our response should not have any political boundaries. That is why Senate Majority Leader Republican Mitch McConnell joined with Liberal Democrat Ed Markey from Massachusetts to call for the Surgeon General's report so we can put this crisis above the fold of every newspaper in our country. And I thank Surgeon General Murthy for his announcement of this Surgeon General's report today. But we know that this report is just the first step in what needs to be a comprehensive national effort to address this national public health emergency. We have to stop the overprescription of opioid pain medication in America. We are 5% of the world's population. We consume 80% of prescription drug opioids. That must end in America. We must expand treatment to ensure that every American who needs treatment is given access to it, because we know that those recovery efforts can work. And we need to raise our voices and say, enough is enough. We must end this crisis. To all those who are struggling with addiction, I'm here to say that help is on the way, that no matter how dark that life seems right now, there is hope. The storm clouds will soon separate and sunlight will grace you once again. So we thank you all for being here. This is the time, this is the place, you are the people. If we all stand united, we can make it possible that there is a day when children have to look to the history books to find that there ever was such an epidemic hitting our country as prescription drug opiate overdose in our country. Thank you all for everything that you are doing. Let us stand together to fight this incredible epidemic. Thank you.
My name is Ivana Grahovic, and I'm the Executive Director of Transforming Youth Recovery. Together with Doors to Recovery, and thanks to Stacey Mathewson, our founder, who lost her only child, Josh Montoya, to heroin overdose, we are here to amplify life-saving communities that cherish young people in recovery, recovery high schools, and collegiate recovery programs. It's an honor for me to be with you today because I am a person in long-term recovery from IV heroin addiction. 10 years clean and sober, baby. This is a full circle moment for me because I worked as a White House intern in college, and I lost all my hope, and my family was almost destroyed because I had no support for recovery on my college campus. Transforming Youth Recovery is addressing this need across America. I'm also honored to be able to share a message from someone who joins us in spirit today, the 43rd President of the United States, George W. Bush. Greetings. Greetings to those gathered in Washington, D.C. for the Unite to Face Addiction rally. Addiction to drugs and alcohol is one of the most pressing health issues of our time. Substance abuse is an unrelenting evil that competes with affections, ruins families, and destroys lives. Nearly 30 years ago, I recognized that drinking had become a daily habit for me. Through faith and the support of my family and friends, I quit. It wasn't easy, and I constantly prayed for the strength to fight off my desires. The more time passed, the more I felt momentum on my side. Not drinking became a new habit, one I was glad to keep. For many, addiction is a disease, not a weakness. Because of the stigma facing people with addiction, asking for and getting help can be tough. I am proud that a wonderful program called Access to Recovery began during my administration. This program helps low-income individuals who are suffering from substance abuse gain access to clinical treatment and recovery support services. Access to Recovery emphasizes that there are many pathways to recovery and helps open the door to a full range of treatment opportunities, offering hope to so many Americans that would otherwise have nowhere to turn. Many of those assembled on the National Mall today know all too well that feeling of helplessness when a loved one is suffering from addiction, and how difficult it is to talk about it. Laura and I pray that today will be a day closer to ending the silence around addiction forever. We send our best wishes for a meaningful and inspirational event. May God bless you, and God continue to bless America. George W. Bush. President Bush's story is one of hope, like our stories, and millions more out there. Together, we can spare our children a world of shame and share the message that there is hope after addiction. We can show our nation that today we represent the promise of a better future for ourselves and our youth through the power of recovery.
Folks, are you ready to keep rocking? Grammy recording artist, The Fray.